Seahawks fans, take a deep breath because this was one of those weeks in Seattle that nobody forgets. Final roster cuts are in, and as always, they brought a little bit of everything. Surprises that fired up the fan base, painful cuts of veterans, and even a bold decision that might reshape the entire identity of the offense. But hold up, it didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, an unexpected trade grabbed everyone's attention and made it crystal clear that the coaching staff is betting heavy on the growth of young talent along the offensive line. And to make things even more intense, injuries are still lurking and already raising serious doubts about the opener against the 49ers. Are these moves going to turn the Seahawks into a tougher, more competitive team, or are they gambles that could backfire? Stick with me until the end because I'll break down everything. And of course, smash that like, hit subscribe, and roll with us this season 12's. Cut-down week is always one of the most stressful times in the NFL, and Seattle was no different. These are decisions that set the tone for an entire season. The 53 names are locked in, and just like every year, there were surprises. Head coach Mike Macdonald and offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak had been hinting that the offense would look a little different, but nobody saw this coming. The Seahawks kept two fullbacks. Rookie Robbie Utes, a fifth-round pick, and Brady Russell, who also works as a tight end, both made the roster. That's not something you see often in today's NFL, where a lot of teams ditch the fullback spot for another wide receiver. But Kubiak has always made it clear that he values fullbacks, and now Seattle's about to find out if that philosophy can actually pay off. It's a gutsy move that could either become a difference maker or go down as one of the riskiest calls of this new era. And that's the kind of move that fans will be debating all season long, whether it works or not. Another decision that hit the fan base hard came at wide receiver. Marquez Valdes-Scantling just couldn't find his rhythm in Seattle and got cut, a tough blow considering the experience he brought. A guy who had flashes elsewhere just couldn't get it rolling here. On the flip side, Cody White seized his chance, shining in the preseason finale against the Packers. 3 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown later, he showed he could deliver when the lights were brightest. What sealed the deal for him? His work on special teams, a phase that often gets overlooked but can make or break roster spots. Seattle proved it's willing to bet on hunger, hustle, and fresh legs instead of leaning on experience. It's the kind of call that splits opinions, but it sends a message loud and clear. In Seattle, no one's job is guaranteed. And that message is powerful, because it sets the tone for accountability inside the locker room. Speaking of special teams, that's exactly where a couple of other stories unfolded. Ty Okada and D'Anthony Bell were on the bubble but managed to stick around. Bell especially brought value, having logged over 1,000 snaps on special teams with the Browns. Contributions like that don't always make the highlight reel, but they matter when you're building a balanced roster. Still, not everything was good news. Linebacker Patrick O'Connell didn't make it, despite putting in the work every single day at practice. That cut stung, because fans saw his effort. But the NFL is ruthless, effort doesn't always guarantee a roster spot, and this week was proof of how fast dreams can fade. It's the harsh side of the league that every season reminds us of, and Seattle was no exception. And just when fans were starting to digest the final roster, Seattle dropped another bombshell, a surprising trade. The Seahawks sent offensive tackle Michael Jarrell to the Falcons for a conditional 7th-round pick in 2027. On paper, it looks like a small move, almost insignificant, but the message was clear. The team has total confidence in the development of its young offensive line. Jarrell wasn't likely to see much action, especially with Gray Zabel emerging as a legit option since training camp. His rise made the front office comfortable enough to move Jarrell. And in the big picture, it's not just about Jarrell leaving, it's about Seattle showing trust in its younger core to carry a much heavier load than before. That trade, while minor at first glance, speaks volumes. For years, the offensive line has been seen as Seattle's weak spot. Protecting quarterbacks has been the big question mark. Now, the narrative is starting to flip. Charles Cross and Abe Lucas remain the starters, maybe not seen as stars league-wide, but the coaching staff trusts them. Adam Zabel showing real promise, and suddenly there's depth. And that's huge, because Sam Darnold can only run this offense if he's got protection. Without it, there's no chance he leads with consistency. So while the trade might look small, it's symbolic. Seattle believes the O-line is finally headed in the right direction. And if that belief proves right, it could be one of the most important storylines of the entire season. But no talk about gearing up for the season is complete without mentioning the toughest opponent, injuries. That ghost always haunts week 1, and Seattle's dealing with it again. Jonathan Hankins, a key anchor inside, landed on the non-football injury list with back issues. Coaches say it's not season-ending, but he's nowhere close to being back. His absence looms large, since his experience and toughness were crucial. Now the pressure's on Byron Murphy to prove he can handle the job. After a quiet rookie year, this is his moment to show why he was a first-round pick. And that storyline alone is something fans will be keeping a close eye on right out of the gate. Mike Morris adds to the concern after suffering a concussion in practice against the Packers. He's still in the protocol, leaving the defensive rotation thin. The bright spot is Uchenna Nwosu returning to practice, but his Week 1 status is still up in the air. If he can't go, Boy Mafe will step in alongside DeMarcus Lawrence, completely reshaping the pass rush. That means the Seahawks could roll into the matchup with the 49ers looking a lot different than what the staff originally planned. And when you're going up against one of the best teams in the NFC, every missing piece matters that much more. Still, it wasn't all bad news. Tyrese Knight is close to returning after knee issues, and rookie wideout Torrey Horton, who scared fans with an ankle injury, should also be good to go. It's a mixed bag, tough losses, some encouraging returns, and a whole lot of uncertainty. All of it just cranks up the tension heading into the opener against division rival San Francisco, where every detail matters. And if you know this rivalry, you know it always comes down to details. In the N12s, it's been an emotional roller coaster in Seattle. The final roster showed guts, the surprise trade signaled belief in young talent, and injuries remain the big question mark. The Seahawks are still a work in progress, but the signs are there. They want to compete hard. So I'll throw it back to you. Which of these moves hit you the hardest? Was it the gutsy call to keep 2 fullbacks? The faith in the O-line after Jarrell's exit? Or the injury concerns that still won't go away? Drop your thoughts, because it's the voice of Seahawks Nation that keeps this channel rolling stronger every day. And of course, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Here, you'll never be left out of the biggest news around our team. Thanks for rocking with us 12s. Let's ride this season together. Go Hawks!